It could be I've made a bit of a mistake here in yesterday's rollback. And these number F38s here, I'm wondering if instead of having them horizontal the way I've glued them on, should they have been maybe angled up a little bit. Now that I'm looking at the drawing, they do appear to be angled up a little bit. Well, it's kind of too late now because it's about 12 hours or so since I glued these on, and this plastic will have, completely melded together there, and I think that if I was to try and readjust them, I would probably make more of a mess than it's worth. So I'm just going to leave it. These parts are so small that an imperfection like that is only going to be noticed by, well, I guess everybody now because I've told you. But yeah. Anyway, let's just sort of roll back and see how we got to this place, and then we'll see you in a few minutes. Alright, now when we closed off yesterday's episode, I said that there was something that I had wanted to do, or I said something like that, and but that's not what I ended up doing. What I ended up doing was checking to see what was wrong with my oven. I was hoping it was not the thermostat, and as it turns out, it was in fact. Now I realize you can't see these things, so I'm going to just move you in here. Okay. Now, yeah, it turns out it was the element. I'll show it to you in a few minutes here. It's pretty obvious. Okay. And I will put the macro lens on, and we'll get a better perspective than we've got going right now. Oh, come on. Anyway, I don't think this is going to want to stay there all by itself. I think that it's probably going to fall off. Yeah, I'll put the macro lens on, and then we can look down on it a little bit more. Now I have to decide here. There's going to be 4 seats, go on this thing, and one, you can see where they go on there, and I have to decide now which is the most likely thing I'm going to break off. This part that I'm trying to put on, or the seats when I'm trying to put this part on. So I've concluded that in all likelihood I'm most likely going to break off one of those delicate little round seat things while I'm trying to put this on. So yeah, let's just recompose here with our macro lens, and maybe we'll just use extra thin. Makes sense to me anyway. Okay, everything is pretty much the way it was, except now you're in a lot closer. Now I'm going to grab it right here, because I was finding that when I was grabbing it, like say in the middle of everything, it had a tendency to flip up or down. I guess that round part is not perfectly round. Now, what I want to do is take my extra thin here. Now I don't want to get too much on. Oh, and I dropped my part. Always something. Oh, I can get it again. Now I don't think it matters which way it goes up. I don't think there's an up or a down. In other words, I don't have to flip it over. Now, just press down on this. I think I more or less got it. It looks pretty good. Now, see if I can do the other one without moving anything. Let me check the monitor. Okay. Oh, I almost lost it there. It's kind of hard to get on. See, I'm going to have to just reposition here. Better put a little bit more on here now. I guess I don't have to do both at the same time. Okay, I think that, well, maybe, there, it's a little bit more horizontal than it was. Looks kind of low on this corner, but maybe it's just my imagination. Okay, quit poking at it. Well, for the viewer that goes by the name Margaret T., the last time I saw that test tube that you were asking about, it was in the test tube holder. It's not there now. And for the other viewers that wonder what it is that I'm talking about, do you remember it would be going on, I think it would be 3 years ago this coming summer. I was kind of upset with the fact that the rabbits were depositing rabbit droppings all over the front under my car, to the point that they were, well, they weren't thick like that, but there was a lot of them. And I thought to myself, when I saw them doing that in the wintertime, I thought, well, that's okay. In springtime, they'll all dissolve. Well, they didn't dissolve. They stayed there all summer. Yeah, and I think there was some even the next spring, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think there's anything there now, but I was really amazed at how long these rabbit droppings did not dissolve. So I took a fresh one, let it dry out, and I put it in a test tube with some water. And I had it for the longest time, and I don't know what happened. Maybe it eventually dissolved. It's gone now. Anyway, now you also had asked about the cake story. And another viewer I noticed already has asked, yes, they want to see the cake story, or hear the cake story. So I'll try and remember to tell that. I'll probably do it tomorrow after the rollback. And like right now, we're still in the rollback. In other words, it's still Tuesday. But it's getting on, and it's time for me to wind it up here. I thought I maybe would do a little bit on those photo etch seats, but I think I better wrap it up for this evening. So, yeah, all being well, we'll see you in the morning. Okay, it is morning, and I think I'm going to just say it once. Yesterday morning I said that twice. I think probably what happened was I got sidetracked with something, and then forgot that I had said it, and said it again, and then because editing with the laptop is such a pain now, I didn't notice that I didn't edit the first one. It's morning out, if you know what I mean. All right, let's recompose here a little bit. And I'll show this close up. Now this is why my oven wasn't working. Now my poor old kitchen stove. As the saying goes, it doesn't owe me anything. I've had it for well over 40 years now. Yeah, and I think this is the third element. That's not too bad, I guess. Okay, now in my pursuit here to try and find a drawing of something that's even remotely similar to what we're making here, I can't find anything that's, I'll find something that's a little bit close, like way over here on this fold-out sheet. Now we're talking about the hood here, except that I'm pretty sure we made these exact same things for the hood, and yeah, it could be exactly the same. So I'm checking the hood schematics here, whatever you call them, and I did find something that I thought might be a little bit similar, but there's no seats around it whatsoever. And when I'm going through the book here, okay, now here's a drawing of something that has 4 seats around it, but it's just altogether different. It's anyway. Like I said, I've wasted a couple hours here trying to find this. Well, I was also editing out the last little bit of video, so I guess that doesn't really count. Anyway, let's continue on here. We do have to get some more photo etch parts for this. Let's do that. Now, when I had these sheets out and I was nipping off the seats and what have you, I should have got these at the same time, but I didn't. So we need 2 C11s, and that's these guys right here. Okay, I don't have this taped down too good here, so hope I don't move it. Alright. Now I'm probably going to get in your light, but that's life. It didn't go very far. There you go. Maybe I'll hold it down. I think I got through. Yeah. Okay, I've wet my whistle and maybe I can get through this story about the cake. I had originally just thought that I could tell the story while I did something else at the same time, but I'm realizing now that if I try that, both the story and the job that I'm doing on whatever it is not going to be very good because I'll be too distracted one way and the other. Anyway, we were talking about if you can see what something is, you're less likely to damage it. Now, when I worked at the bus depot, I used to have a saying, and as far as I know, I was the the only one that said it, and I think I probably coined it, you might say. And the saying went like this: that we could ship a pail of water on the bus without spilling it, as long as you didn't put a lid on it. And my thinking was, it's because everybody handling it all the way down the line is going to instantly see it's a pail of water, and they're going to carry it carefully. Now, granted, if the bus hits a bump, it's going to spill, right? But you know where I was going with that. So, here's the story about the cake. I'm at the express counter, taking an express and what have you, and putting labels on packages and so on, and a lady comes in. She's carrying a box like this, flat, and she wants to ship a cake. And I forget where it was going to go. I can't even remember what the lady looked like anymore. But she wants to ship a cake. I think it was to Thompson, Manitoba, which is about 500 miles north of here. And yes, there is north of Winnipeg, believe it or not. Anyway, she wants to ship it, and I said no. And she kept begging and pleading, and well, can't you try? And so finally, out of sheer desperation, now you got to understand that the customer is always right, and there is nothing that scares an express clerk worse than somebody getting mad at you and saying, "I want to talk to your manager." And I didn't want that, so I thought, okay, and I made it very clear. I take it in. It was going to go owner's risk. And so I make out the bill and I type in owner's risk on the bill and everything, and I put the label on the package, and then in big felt marker letters on the top of the box, which is probably about, I guess, 14 inches square and about this deep. On the top of the box, I write cake. Couldn't miss it. Okay? And then around the outside, I put little arrows pointing up to indicate this side up. And then it seems to me I put fragile stickers on it too. I did everything I could. Well, the way when we take a parcel in at the bus depot, we'd set it on the counter beside us, and there was a scale there, and you'd weigh it because that's how you priced it. Went basically by weight. Anyway, after you're all through, you would take the parcel and you would turn and you would put it on a conveyor belt that was behind you. And then the conveyor belt would trundle it off to the shipping area where the express wagons were and so on. And people that we referred to as platform loaders would take the parcel and put it on the appropriate wagon, express wagon, which would later go out to the appropriate bus when there was time for the bus to leave. Anyway, sometimes the platform loaders would get ahead of us, and they'd be sort of waiting around for you to do something to get a parcel ready, and rather than wait for the package to be put on the conveyor and it trundled off to them, they'd come up behind you and they'd sort of stand there waiting. Well, I had just finished up this lady's parcel, and along comes old Les, and I've known Les for many, many, many years. He's about my age, and he comes and it just as I'm through labeling it and everything's done, he sees it. He knows it's ready to go, and he picks it up and flips it up at 90 degrees and holds it against his tummy, and off he starts to walk. And I said, "Les, it's a cake." And I can still see the look on his face. It's sort of a sick, sheepish grin. And then he sees cake, fragile. Okay, here's what happened. Old Les was only looking for one thing, and that is, where is this going? What town is it going to? And that's all he was worried about. Now, if that lady had put a cellophane top on her box so that you could see it was a cake, in all likelihood, it would have made it all the way to wherever it was supposed to go. I mean, it might have even rode inside the bus on a seat with the passengers, if there was room, of course. Anyway, so that's the story of the cake. If you don't see what something is, you're not gonna handle it appropriately, and that's why I put a clear top on this. Um, okay, now I've told the cake story. If a year from now I say, did I tell the cake story? For goodness sakes, say, yeah, you told it at episode 1078. Okay. Uh, Let's see, what do we got here? It's almost 1 o'clock. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I get a coffee visitor. So I can't go on too long, but let's find Andy's photo etch bender here. And maybe we can bend some of these little parts. Put the macro lens on again, and good old macro lens. Okay, now, if I don't bump our photo etch bender here, let's see, do I have that the right way up, or should it be the other way? No, this is the way it has to bend. You can see the folding lines right there. Okay, it appears that it only has to be bent right here and right here, which I can hardly touch. Okay. Oh, I read my comments a moment ago, and we're looking at the wax pencil here, and one of the viewers was mentioning that what he does is he sort of kneads the tip between his fingers to make it a little bit pointy. I tried that just now. Yeah, it seemed to work a little bit. I think maybe if I was to warm it up, it might work better. All right, now what I want to do, we'll use Mr. T's poking device here to hold it down. Maybe I could find something a little different. Okay, I just want to fold this arm up a little bit here. Maybe, hold on a second. Sounds like I was moving out there for a minute there, didn't it? Okay. I just want to go up like this at almost 90 degrees, because I think I know where this has to go. I'm wondering, should I be using the nose of the bender? I was thinking that maybe that it wouldn't fit under very good, but maybe it would have been better to have used the bender the way it's supposed to be. I just want to bring it together just a little bit more here. Okay, whoops, get back there. I think I more or less got it. Okay, now in a minute we'll try it on the part. I think we basically got it in the right shape. It could be just squeezed together just a little bit here. Yeah, that's somewhat better. That's somewhat better. Okay, now, one of the seats. Okay, I guess actually it's not the seat, it's the seat bracket. Now, we've done these before. I can actually remember doing them. How do I hold this down here? It seems to me that when I tried to get it underneath the nose of the bender, it was... how did I do that before? No, it wasn't like that. Well, let's recompose here. So let me check my monitor. It looks like there might be wax off the wax pencil on the top there. Now I'm looking straight down on it, and this folding line is parallel to the nose of the bender. So if I go down, is it going to grab onto it? No, that's what I was afraid of. It's too short. Well, how would it be then if we go like this? And once again, it may not look like it's straight to you because the well, then why don't I turn it straight to you? You know what? I think I held the flat part in a pair of tweezers, and then I bent the two flaps up, you might say, with my fingers. I think that's what I did. I'm probably going to have to bend these off camera. But if we did it before, we should be able to do it again, right? Okay, I'm probably going to have to drop these in the ultrasonic cleaner before we actually try to glue them onto the part. But right now it is shaped the way it is supposed to go, and this little part right here that I'm holding on to, that's what the round seat mounts on. Okay, and then this part right here gets glued onto the side of that round piece that we made. Yeah. What I did was I held it in the tweezers. Let me get a little better grip on it here. Well, that's not much better, but anyway. So I held it in the tweezers, and then I just bent it with my fingers, and then a little bit further with another pair of tweezers. And then I bent the little pedestal part that the seat mounts on. I bent that afterwards. So we got to do that 7 more times. I'm not going to do it on camera. It was just too hard to do something like that on camera for me. Unless I was to, rig up a whole bunch of jigs that would hold stuff stationary, and I spend way too much time doing that kind of stuff as it is. Okay, you know what, folks? We're going to have to cut today's episode off. So thanks for watching, and all being well, we'll be seeing you tomorrow.